How's it, everybody? So, game 3, victorious Springboks. Not the prettiest game of rugby that I've ever witnessed, at least in my life. Game ended several hours ago. I was actually out getting stuff ready for the kiddo. She starts school this next week. Had to go get the haircut, had to go get shoes and shop and all that kind of thing that everybody has to do when you have kids. But was able to watch it this morning, Peacock app, 11 a.m., and it was a great game. I'm not even going to pretend that we didn't make our fair share of mistakes. That second half of the first half, so second quarter of the game, it looked really bad for us. British and Irish Lions got moving. Unfortunately, and you never want to wish ill on anybody because these are men who are feeding their families. Dan Beggar gets hurt, comes out. Finn Russell comes in and played absolutely amazing for the British and Irish Lions. I thought he had a great game. First 20 minutes of it, pretty uneventful. Andre Pollard gets the first 3 points on the board. A lot of just kicking. Not a whole lot of mistakes, especially in the second half of that first half by the Springboks. Wasn't the prettiest game. I'm not even going to pretend to know anything about Jacobus Reinach, who was backing, who had replaced the injured Faf de Klerk, one of my favorite players. But man, he held it down. The team looked really, really solid. And if you want to see blood in a match, go watch the game. Lots of bloody faces. I'm pretty sure I saw a broken nose or two. I'm pretty sure there was a guy on the British and Irish Lions. Looks like he's going to have a nice scar on his cheek, and he's probably going to have to get stitches or they'll glue it. But it was a rough and tumble game, and once again, it was a game of two halves. First half, especially the second half of the first half, really, really looked bad for the boys, the Boks. And second half, we come out, and we put it together. Cheslin Colby, wonderful offload. Willie LaRue played absolutely perfect for what I wanted him to do. Great offload. Cheslin Colby, like I said, if he gets a step on you, you're not catching him. It's just not happening. And another thing I did notice was I never realized how small he was compared to a lot of guys until he scores the try and one of his teammates comes and just picks him up by the shirt and puts him on his feet. And you're just like, Jesus, this guy is not very big. No wonder he wears the headgear, because he's a smaller guy. But once again, he got out. He got the try. Back and forth. A lot of struggle in the second half. A little bit of issues. Yes, you're going to find it on Twitter. There was a point where, yes, there was a Springbok water girl like within 10 feet of the play going on. And you kind of hear people, get off the field, get off the field. I thought it was pretty hilarious. The French referee, I felt, did a great job. Kind of pulled everybody to the side and said, look, this isn't going to happen. Don't do this. Don't do this. And he seemed to have played a very unbiased role in the refereeing of the game. This was something that everybody had argued about, was that the refereeing was horrible, the officiating. I feel like he did a good job. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some British and Irish Lions fans out there that will be like, you're crazy, he did a horrible job, yada, yada, yada. But Alan Wynne-Jones played amazing. Maro Itoje, they did great. And I got to tip my cap to a lot of those guys. If you didn't follow the British and Irish Lions this year, I mean, Alan Wynne-Jones, they played a test match against Japan. He dislocated his shoulder, and they had ruled him out. No, 2 weeks later, he's back in camp. That's a trooper right there. That's a real guy. He, to me, is one of those guys that will make it to the end of his career and never lifted the Ellis Cup and the World Cup. And that's one of those guys you kind of say, like, you know what, man, he kind of deserved it, because he's been a solid lock for Wales for all these years. Been just great at what he does. A bit of a, you can find clips of him where he looks absolutely batshit crazy, but you've kind of got to be to want to play lock. You'd be a tall guy and want to play rugby because you're a big target. It was a great game all around. Funny thing was the end of the game. Who ended up sealing the deal? The same guy that did it 12 years ago. Marnie Stern, 36 years old. Yes, 36 years old, coming on, kicking the final 2 penalties, and we win it 19-16. Like I said, I congratulate everyone, British and Irish Lions, who made it a hard-fought series, despite all the bullshit off the pitch between coaches and everything. You know, we had Rassi Erasmus, you had Warren Gatland saying things. Despite all the bullshit, you played a great series. I tip my hat to you. It was a really fucking weird deal with all this COVID shit going on and whatnot, but I tip my hat. You guys played your best. You played your heart out. You made it a good series. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't like, oh, they beat the shit out. You know what I mean? Like, it was a very evenly matched series. Final game came down to a 3-point differential, which is what you always want to see. You want to see those hard-fought victories. You want to see blood spilled, and there was definitely plenty of that today on the pitch. And congratulations to the Springboks, British and Irish Lions champions, World Cup champions. These younger guys on this squad relish in this because you're probably not ever going to get to do this again. Enjoy it, and let's get ready for next weekend. We've got the Rugby Championship starting. I'm excited about that. I won't do a video about the All Blacks just because there's plenty of them out there. I did watch the game leading up, and kind of in between I would kind of flip in and watch a little bit of it on the cell phone. And congratulations, Aaron Smith, 100 caps. Not an easy feat, especially in that black uniform where it's so competitive on that team to get caps. You consistently do your job, and you do it very well. Like I said, I'm a Faf de Klerk guy, but I think Aaron Smith is one of the best, and a guy that consistently leads by example. In the weight room, on the pitch, everything, he's the guy that, like, you find any interviews with him, he's just a good Kiwi guy. Like, very, very nice and very respectable, and does his job and does it very, very well. Like I said, I won't go too much into it. I don't know if the All Blacks just played like shit, or is Dave Rennie really riding the ship this quickly? This should have been a blowout, and it was not. It was a close game. You can go watch the highlights. You can get all kinds of breakdown about that from other people. But obviously, All Blacks won Game 1 of the Bledisloe Cup, and we'll kind of see. I think the Wallabies had 3 tries in the last 20 minutes, and I can remember the last time that happened when Steve Hansen was coaching, and I remember, the first 40 minutes was some of the best rugby I ever saw. The last 40 was some of the worst. And I heard that John Kerwin kind of said the same thing. The first 40 minutes was some of the worst rugby he's ever seen. I did see a nice clip. Brodie Retallick, the big man, getting a run with the ball. Anybody, if you want to see a really good run, go and find the one that got the try of the year for him, where he did the little dummy. It was awesome just to see a guy. Imagine Shaquille O'Neal running at a sprint. Yeah, like it's just, you have to see it to believe it. And there's another one where Sam Whitelock's playing for the Crusaders. And I mean, even Richie McCaw is sitting on the Richie McCaw and Dan Carter are on the sideline, just going like, "Oh my God, look at this big fella making like a 60-meter run down the field." And I'm pretty sure, he left the pitch that night. He went and clubbed his dinner, took it back to his cave, cooked it with fire, and ate it. That's a Sam Whitelock thing. He just kind of looks almost Cro-Magnon at times, but he's a great player. But anywho. Yes, British and Irish Lions series over. Springboks win 2-1. Like I said, I tip my hat to Alan Wynne-Jones, Warren Gatland, all those guys in company. Not Owen Farrell, because fuck that guy. That's a totally different thing. I can't stand that dude. Dirty hits. He gets hit all the time. I'm just not a fan of Owen Farrell. I'm sorry. He's probably the one English guy that I really, really hate. And even in the last World Cup, when you had a USA guy nail him good, I was like, yeah! But anywho, I digress. Everybody, it was a great game. If you get a chance to stream it, go watch it. Entertaining, blood, hits, everything. And Springboks, champions, winners of this series. And now we can move on to the Rugby Championship, where the real work will begin. I'm really, really curious. We have obviously seen the All Blacks and the Wallabies play. I'm wanting to see what Argentina's going to bring. I mean, Pablo Matera and company, Nicolas Sanchez. This is going to be some good games, man. They beat the All Blacks last year. It happened, man. It happened. And I think that they're going to turn some heads, and I think the All Blacks are going to have their work cut out for them. They're going to have their work cut out for them, because I think we're going to be licking our wounds a bit as Springboks for a bit, so I'm not putting a whole lot of faith in the Rugby Championship. A lot of injuries, questions, that kind of thing. But British and Irish Lions, we can check that one off the list. We won't see them again for 12 years, and by that time, I will be a very, very, very old man. Not old, but I'll be a much older gentleman, and maybe we'll still be talking about this then, and we'll be remembering Faf de Klerk, and we'll be remembering Andre Pollard and all these guys, and it'll be great, and maybe, be talking about everybody. It'll be great, and we'll remember the 2021 and the COVID, and it'll all be a distant memory to us, and we'll have moved on, hopefully, by that point. But, yeah, everybody have a lovely weekend. If you've subscribed, thank you. I'm just trying to get this off the ground. I kind of, it's cool having people from abroad. I hope Americans subscribe to this as well, just because, I want Americans to get into the sport. It's, I love rugby for so many reasons. I'm a huge ice hockey guy, but I like rugby because, I feel a lot of it, it's you got to think on the fly. You got to think while you're getting hit. And it's just great, and it's not this stop and start crap, with American gridiron football. I'm just not, obviously I live in America, so I do watch that, but it's just a different feeling, and especially when you've got, national teams on the line. It's just something about having pride for your national programs and whatnot that I wish Americans would kind of get into. It seems like the only thing they really get keen behind is the USA basketball team, and they're not even really that big on that now because the dream team is not really the dream team anymore. But, yeah, like I said, thank you for subscribing to me. I'm trying to get better content. I'm still just kind of doing videos from my car, and whenever I get a chance, I'd like to do this. I'm not trying to do this for a living. I'm not trying to I want to quit my job so I can do this full time. But I really just want to get everybody to see a North American perspective on the sport of rugby, especially Southern Hemisphere rugby, which I've said time and time again. I have a deep love for Southern Hemisphere rugby. And even if I don't really like the Wallabies, I still enjoy what the Southern Hemisphere has to provide with the MLR. We're bringing a lot of these players over, and it's nice. And, the missus loves the accents, and it's great. And we get the, you get the boerewors, and you get just get with your mates. And it's just a fun sport to follow. I wish Americans would kind of get into it a bit more. But, yeah, cheers, everybody. Have a good weekend. Have a good week. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.